So here we are. I'm going to go way back to 2013. This was Junior Worlds. This was my first junior national team trip. And then in 2016, then in Rio, that was actually my first national team trip. So not a whole lot of experience up to this point with regards to international swimming. But this set me up. This was the first international meet I had before the Olympics. So it's pretty crazy to kind of look back on these races with how young I look and inexperienced, quite honestly, some of the races. But nonetheless, it was a good race. I think I was 16 right here, I believe, and I think I was 48.97 was my final time. I think I won by 0.09, right behind Luke Percy, who was in lane 3 from Australia. So this was the only race I won at Junior Worlds, and it was the very last day, my very last race. So pretty cool experience, but I have not seen this race in a while, so it'll be fun to rip through it. So let's watch through it once and see what we got, guys. Oh, this is weird watching races from this long ago. I used to not like watching my races back until I started doing these. I know this is only my 5th one, but I learned a lot about myself and technique and stuff like that to move forward with that. Otherwise, I don't know, usually I get anxious when I watch races back, but now I'm getting a lot more comfortable doing it thanks to you guys making me do these. Not really, but these have been really fun so far. Oh gosh, yeah, I remember last 25 of this race. It's crazy how I can remember this from 7 years ago. I can remember how bad this last 15 hurt. Oh my goodness, I don't know how I won that. Really good race though. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Let's see what we can pick apart from this. So I think I said in one of the episodes, guys, I know that I'm very hard on myself. I understand that. I'm not trying to make a joke or sound unprofessional in any way. This is just how I pick apart my races and how I talk to myself in practice. You have to set your own standard of what is acceptable or not. And if it's not, learn from it and move on. So that's why a lot of my races, it seems like I'm making fun of myself. That's not the case. I'm just trying to find ways to get better. And I hope I would be able to look at a race from 7 years ago and absolutely destroy it, or else I would still be going 48.97. If I can't look back and be able to make fun of myself and be able to, pick apart things, then what am I doing in the sport? I'm clearly not progressing anywhere. So I'm not trying to do it as a joke. And I'm just very hard on myself. That's just how I work and operate. So I'm not trying to make light of any situation, but it is fascinating. And I do appreciate you guys, watching these videos and allowing me the opportunity to actually go through my races, because it's something that I've never really been a fan of, but I guess the same thing for like football or basketball. It's basically watching film. I do logbooks and I journal. That's really the main reason I see how to progress. But being able to watch video, it's very, very helpful. So let's go. Right off the bat, here we go. Start with the start. Simple as that. You guys know the drill. One bite, everybody knows the rules. You see how my elbows right here? You see how they're fanned out? Don't do this. The first thing that's going to happen, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'm going to predict the future right here. The first thing that's going to happen is my elbows are going to collapse in, and then nothing's going to move. So I'm basically just wasting a movement. So that's why my starts now, I'll already have my elbows kind of tucked in a little bit. So you see lane 6 right here? Not as much as lane 6. Let me circle it in case you guys can't. No, I'm not going to circle it. Lane 6. If you can't see where lane 6 is, just look at lane 6. You see how his elbows are tucked in? That's a little bit aggressive. Oh, lane 7. Here we go. That's money. See how they're already tucked in, but he's also still relaxed. So don't do what I'm doing. They're fanning out. I was like, oh, this is going to be way faster. I was like adamant that this is the way to do a start, but it's not. So watch. First thing is they're going to collapse. Let me go frame by frame here. Oh, whoops. Oh, doesn't want to let me go frame by frame. That's weird. Let's see. Boom. See, first thing. Oh, I was pressing the wrong button. Sorry, guys. So watch. Oh my gosh, I am just so good at predicting the future. You see this? Oh, what's the first thing that moves? My elbows just tuck right in. That's just wasted movement. That could have been energy going forward, but instead I'm just basically taking my arms and moving them straight back into nowhere. And then the foot starts to react. But watch, the very first thing to move. Oh, you can actually see when the light goes off. This is cool. There's the start. Boop, elbows collapse. What's the point of that? There's no point. You should already have your elbows tucked in and relaxed, okay? Ready to go. Okay, so boom, and then That's funny. My start relatively looks the same, even from back in high school. Let's see. This entry is going to be bad. Oh, it's going to be so bad. Look at my hips right now. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, let's check the splash. Let's peep the splash here. That's not bad. I got in clean. My hips were pretty low. So, guys, if you are diving in out and you're making a lot of splash, or if you're diving really far but making a lot of splash, bring in the dive a little bit. Don't try and go out as far as you can if you're getting in the water sloppy. You want to get in as clean as you can, not get out as far as you can. Boom. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, so underwaters, it should be about 6. I think I've been taking 6 since high school. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might have missed one. Maybe it was just 5. And then, okay, I'm going to let this run out for a little bit. Let me just check the breakout, and then let's actually see how my stroke was looking. That's so funny watching little Caeleb. The reason I did this video is my mom watches my YouTube videos, by the way, guys, which is hype. She wanted me to do this one, so mom, of course, is going to get priority over any race that anybody recommends. So let's see what we got. Breakout was super slow, super slow. You guys see that? Sorry. And by slow, I mean it seemed really late. That's usually, if I say it's a slow breakout, that's what I mean by that. See that pause? It's just I'm on the surface of the water and then I'm taking that arm stroke. You should technically be breaking out like maybe a foot or two under the surface. Okay, let's watch the actual stroke. So in high school, I was definitely known for going out super fast. I'm actually fine with that right arm. The left arm looks a little short, but breathing looks good. It's a little choppy. I'm not going to be too hard on myself at this point because basically what I relied on in high school was just tempo. A lot of tempo. That if you look at my 50, I'll go over some of my 50s and you'll see it's just straight up tempo, and that is not what's supposed to drive the stroke, especially not long course. I think that's why long course exposes a lot of people. Do not resort to tempo in order to speed up your stroke. It's typically going to either be a harder kick or it's going to be a more, I don't want to use aggressive. It's going to be more rotation, more power through the rotation of your core and your hips to get more power within the stroke rather than just speeding up the tempo, because you are going to die, as you're about to see at the end of this race with what's about to happen to me. It's funny, guys. I remember before this race, I was like I'll talk after. Let's finish up the race. I'm actually fine. I'm fine with my stroke here. I think it may have been a little choppy. The tempo is a little high. That's the biggest complaint I have. Tempo's a little high. Let's check the approach. Little long into the turn, but I think that's fine. That breakout was much better. Okay, now this is where I'm about to start getting pretty short. You see this right arm? So I'm actually breathing to my bad side right here. My grand plan was I knew Luke was going to be the guy to beat, so I used to do what's ambidextrous breathing. I would breathe looking different ways. So I thought Luke was in lane 5. So before the race, I had my race plan, which you should always have a race plan no matter what you're going to do. So when things go bad and things really start hurting in a race, you know what you're going to resort to. So I thought Luke was in lane 5. So if you notice this whole race, I'm breathing to lane 5. And, we're behind the blocks, like in the ready room or whatever. And I was like, oh, frick, he's in lane 3. But I didn't change my race plan. That's what I woke up in the morning with what I was going to do. And that's what I was sticking with what I was going to do. Okay, so I am very fluid. If you notice, I don't have like a super set routine. But I do have a set routine behind the blocks, but it's very fluid. If something goes wrong, if my goggles break, whatever, you can't be so set on one routine that if you don't get that thing in, you're just going to be freaking out. So I had to improvise, even though I didn't change my race plan. So stick with your race plan so you have something to resort to when things really start hurting. So stroke, it still looks good right here. It's just the tempo. Again, the tempo is super high. My kick looks fine. This is where I'm hurting. Look at this. I'm flinging my arms right here. Absolutely flinging. But I held on well, to be honest. I wish I had my splits right here, guys. I think I was out in, you know what? I was out in either 3.1 or 3.2. So if someone wants to do the math, my final time was 48.9. Haven't graduated yet, so someone else can do the math for me. So I took a breath like pretty far out there. Let me see this. Where did I take my last breath? Oh, right there. Oh my gosh, like at the flags. That's just so different than what I do nowadays, like putting my head down at 15. So really the biggest complaint I have, I thought the kick tempo was good. I thought my arms looked great. They got short at the end of the race, but that's, I mean, expected for how fast I went out. It was good. I thought head position was good the whole time. The arm itself, the form of the arm itself outside of the stroke, I thought looked great. I thought, if anything, there's some races after this where I actually got a little bit worse with the structure of my arm. The arm looked comfortable. Looked like I was getting some speed going into the front end of the stroke with the arm outside the water. That looked really, really good. And then biggest complaint is really just the tempo, guys. I thought the kick was good. I'm actually happy with this. Maybe I'm not getting better. Maybe 2013 was my year. I don't know. But no, that was good. 48.97 is my first time under 49. And funny part right here is I couldn't see the scoreboard. Watch how long it takes me to realize what my time was. I didn't know I won until I heard my teammates cheering. But I actually clipped that part out, so I didn't take too long. But like, I'm like staring at the scoreboard for pretty long. I'm like, oh, I won. That's pretty awesome. Gave a cool little cheer. Guys, if you win a heat, celebrate, man. You own that heat. That's your heat. You can do whatever you want. I mean, to an extent. I mean, you got to tell your competition good job, of course. Be respectful. But whoa, what's going on in lane 5? Did he slip? Look at this. Huh. What? Maybe that's just the start. Whoa, that's okay. I don't even know what I was talking about. Yeah, you win your heat, celebrate. That's your moment. Own it. All right? This was fun. Guys, this is really good. I remember actually after this race, I went in the bathroom and cried. It was a very long meet, first time away from home in a different country. It was in Dubai. This meet was in Dubai. So it's a very emotional time away from my family. And, you know, chasing 48 was a goal of mine. And this was like my third taper meet in a row in high school. I think I did juniors, and then I did nationals, and then I went to Dubai. So it was, it was like winter nationals. I don't know. But it was like my third taper meet in a row. And I was just really proud of myself. I think this was the first time I really had an idea that, hey, I think I might be, you know, pretty good at this whole swimming thing. So this was cool to have a very hard meet after a third taper kind of wrapped up in this fashion. So it was very emotional. Yeah, I went in the bathroom, cried. I think I got my first drug test after this, actually. But this was one of the most memorable meets I've ever had, to be honest. One of the most memorable by far. So good race. Tempo a little high. First breakout was a little late. On the start, don't start with your elbows bowed out like that. As you can see, the first thing that happens is they go right back in anyway. So that's about it, guys. If you have anything else to recommend race-wise, let's do some old ones. If you have some oldies, I don't want to just rip through all my most recent races. If you guys have, I think I saw a tuner back in there I don't have a video of. But let me know in the comments, guys, and let me know anything I can do to make these better.